Hello, my name's ESG, and if you're struggling to win naval battles as Italy in the Mediterranean, this is the video for you. So in this video, I'm going to review how naval combat works in Hearts of Iron 4, the strengths and weaknesses of the Italian Navy, and how to beat the UK fleet as Italy in Hearts of Iron 4. So there's going to be no special text that you're going to need to research. All you do is go ahead and delete the two battleships that are going to take a long time to complete. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then just complete the rest of your Navy here. And then go ahead and put this cruiser into production. So this is the cruiser that is the highest IC cost here. So just go ahead and put CNA. The reason why we're building with CNA as the MIO is because it's fairly easy to get to the first click here. Speed allows you to retreat and reinforce much quicker, and then you can overwhelm your opponents by just having more ships in the battle earlier. So make sure to change the top MIO to CNA. I have my Navy organized into one death stack here. I've trained up the Navy so that they're all up to a regular amount of experience. And that is probably the most important thing that you can do other than keeping all of your Navy together. Now you can take and put a different Navy. I'd recommend organizing your Navy like this if you're in more of an open water scenario, like you're playing Japan or something. You can use the patrol mission here at the bottom, and what that's going to do is find the enemy forces. For Italy though, you are in the Mediterranean, you have land masses by all the sea zones, and they're fairly small sea zones. So you're not going to have a problem spotting your opponents in the Mediterranean. The subs should be organized in stacks of 8 to 12. And I like to put all of the subs that are of the same type into the same stack, and that way they all show up at the same time, because your sub 2s their speed is a little different than the sub 1s, as well as their range. So that's going to come into play more when we get into the Atlantic. Now, in terms of the Admirals, even though Iachino here is level 2, he's going to upgrade faster because he's a lower level. The main stats that I'm looking for here is speed, and speed is key, as well as naval damage. So bold is an excellent trait to have on this Admiral, and he has spotter, which means we'll be able to find the enemy fleets faster. He has positioning, and then the spotting speed of 20% is also good. And he has an upgrade here. And for this upgrade, we're going to go cruiser captain. So his naval speed on the heavy cruiser is going to be buffed. The naval damage on the heavy cruiser is going to be buffed. And we get the same stats for the light cruiser. For our sub admiral, I'm going to go with Zara. So Zara is going to start off with a naval organization of +5 and the enemy retreat chance of +20. So the enemy is going to be able to retreat out, but mainly this is a sub navy, and we're just looking to destroy the convoys. The subs are slow, but the convoys are also slow as well. He also has a positioning buff. I gave him Lancer, so torpedo screen penetration chance of 25%, and loading drill master, torpedo cooldown of -25%. So the strength of the Italian Navy here is we have a lot of soft attack. So that means that we're going to be able to strip away the enemy screens quickly and then start damaging the battleships. And I'm going to show you how the combat works and why this is a good thing. And I loaded up a save here where I'm about to go to war with France. The macro strategy here is we're going to start after we declare war by convoy raiding in this sea zone right here, the Tyrrhenian Sea. And what we want to do is attack the French Navy, one navy at a time. So the subs will find the convoys. They're going to be reinforcing Corsica, and then we're going to engage their main navy. And if you do this right before you start war, you're going to be able to attack the navies one at a time. So I've moved all my air over the Tyrrhenian Sea. I'm not too worried about the land combat at this point. This is a naval build, and we want to destroy their fleet so that we can use our fleet to give shore bombardment. But first, the French fleet needs to be defeated so that there's no naval threat, and then we can move in on the land. So the air here, you're going to want on naval strike, and you're going to put that over the Tyrrhenian Sea. I like to wait till our main navy engages against the French main navy, and then I put the air up and kind of surprise them so that they just don't retreat out right away. Okay, we'll declare war against France, and now since the Godot d'Amarung DLC, Belgium will also come into the war with France, and that means a continuation war against the Allies, because as soon as France falls, Belgium will immediately go into the Allies. To get around this, you can take North Africa, naval invade in France, and then naval invade to Belgium if you really want to. I don't really mind being at war with the Allies early, so I just take out France and then take out Belgium and then take out the UK Navy in the Mediterranean. So it would appear that we're engaging with the French main navy. You see that they have the pride of the fleet there. And let's take a look at the stats. New ships join combat, -13%. Our positioning is +32% because of the stats on the Admiral. And I don't believe it's Zara. It's actually Iachino, but Zara shows up here in the screen. You can see these 3 dotted lines on either side. And then there's a dotted line at the bottom. So the dotted line at the bottom represents all of the ships that are underwater. So if you see ships down here that are generally should be above water, like destroyers or battleships, that means that they're sunk. If there are subs down here on the left, that means they're still alive. But if there's subs down here on the right, that means that they're dead. This first area is for the screens, and what you need to know here is that the screens are going to generally deal soft attack damage and soak up all the soft attack damage, and they block the next level, which is your heavy cruisers and your battleships. Now the next level is going to protect the last level here, which is exclusively for your carriers. Each of these levels having better light armor on the first level is better. Having better heavy armor on the second level is better. And then if you have carriers, the battleships will protect the carriers. The screens will protect the battleships. There's a few things here that will be able to immediately attack the battleships though, even though there's a ton of screens. And I'm going to show you that in a bit when they start dealing damage. Let's surprise them and put our air out. Okay, so there's an engagement here. You can see that they're reinforcing. We're reinforcing. The planes just came into the battle, and it says carrier group, but they're actually attacking from land. And initially here, you could see that the French heavy cruisers have been attacked by our heavy guns. So again, this middle dotted line section here for the heavy cruisers and the battleships are going to take damage from heavy guns. The screening level here is taking damage from light guns, and you can see that. So the bottom section down here is going to be reserved for the ships that are destroyed. And we can see here that the naval bombers didn't really do that much damage, and that's because when you have bad weather like this, the naval bombers, even carrier-borne fighters and bombers, will not come into play. You can see down here that there was 1% damage done by one of the naval bombers, so we're just unlucky with the weather here. The bombers will prioritize the mid-level and the last level here, so the battleship heavy cruiser level and the carrier level. And then we get our results by left clicking on this button here, and you can see it was kind of a Pyrrhic victory. We did kill 7 of their destroyers for 3 of ours. Only losing destroyers is okay as well, because we could build those fairly quickly. And we did get 14 convoys. So that means that there was at least like 3 or 4 divisions heading to Corsica, and we sunk them all. So that's very good. So it looks like their main navy is defending this raiding attack here, but we're over here. So again, their navy is split, but we're just attacking them one at a time. Now let's check out the stats. We have an overwhelming superiority in terms of stats here. The first thing is light guns. You know what that does. It attacks the screens. The heavy guns attack the capital ships, and the torpedoes generally attack everything. But it's going to prioritize the first level first, then the second level, then the third level. The anti-air is going to be good because it allows them to bring less aircraft to bear. Again, we're still in bad weather, so this aircraft is meaningless, and depth charges are only used against subs. They have no subs in this battle. So we have the positioning advantage here, which means we can bring more of our fleet to bear. And they actually have a carrier in here, but it immediately retreats because we're stronger than them. And 4 to 6, not really the best. We want to do better than that. So now that you have the basics here of kind of how the combat works, I want to talk about the missions. So your main navy is always going to be on strike force, unless you have that smaller screen navy for spotting, because you need spotting, but we don't need it. Then you'd put that navy on patrol, and you can see that the strike force is working just fine. The thing about strike force is it allows the main navy to just chill in port and not consume fuel. And then when they're needed, they come out of port. So that's why you use strike force. The convoys for your Hearts of Iron 4 career are going to be exclusively on convoy rating. And those are the only missions that I use, unless I'm doing a naval invasion, in which case the main navy is on naval invasion support and the subs are still back on convoy rating. How I have these fleets set up is repair priority high and automatic split off, because this is kind of a war of attrition. And as you can see, like, I even have some of these destroyers repairing right now. So I don't want to lose ships particularly early against the French fleet. Okay, we have another engagement here. So the best spirit of naval command, and you should take this early, is night fighting, because you're actually going to get better spotting, attack, and negative visibility on your own fleet at night. And it's basically going to be like, most of the engagements are going to be during the day, but there's also going to be engagements at night. So this will help you out the best. This is the best spirit of naval command. For this early war build, since we already have a click on fleet in being, we're just going to go fleet in being left. And we're going to take as many clicks as possible early. You can see that the carrier was damaged by heavy guns and naval bombers. The screens are damaged by light guns and torpedoes. So the screens kind of soak up the torpedo damage first, but after the screens are gone, the torpedoes will focus the next level and then the next level. So it's very important to strip away their screens as fast as possible. We're still trading with them better, but not as good as I would like. So this is the type of wins that we want here. We did get a destroyer, a sub, 3 convoys, as well as 2 screens. Okay, we've re-engaged, and we only have 2 capital ships, and they sunk 5 of our subs. Subs are fairly cheap. I'm not too worried about it. And with our overwhelming air superiority, we should get a lot of their fleet sunk here. Okay, cool. So we got one of their heavy cruisers as well as 4 screens. So we're winning here. So it looks like we have naval supremacy since we've damaged the French fleet enough. Our fleet is currently repairing, and we've only lost a few destroyers, but the French fleet have lost submarines as well as capital ships and a ton more destroyers. So since it seems like we have naval supremacy, we're going to go over to the Western Mediterranean, and you can see that we're raiding and the French Navy hasn't appeared. So that's quite good. And as you can see, we're destroying most of the land forces here in the water. And that's why this strategy works so well, because as France moves around all their forces, I just get them by convoy raiding. So there's really not any engagements happening in the Mediterranean. And we didn't completely destroy the French fleet, which is actually good, because after we cap France, we're going to get that fleet. What we've done is just destroyed them enough to make them sit in port and repair. We could put the main fleet on hold, but then put them out here for the shore bombardment stats. And so the rest of the Navy is still repairing, but we get the shore bombardment as we attack into France. Okay, we have a few upgrades on our Admirals, and I'm gonna give Iachino here, we're gonna give him the Fly Swatter naval AA attack of 10%. So that's going to protect us from the carriers. And then Zara, we're gonna give him Torpedo Expert. Okay, we just received Super Marina, and we'll just continue down base strike doctrine here, further improving our Navy. And at this point, we still have 38 days on the collaboration government, but France will probably fall fairly quickly here. Boom, and there it is. So we didn't get the second collab off. And as you can see here, we have the French Navy with a carrier. So it was actually advantageous to not take them all out. And we got some sub 2s there as well. We can give the French Navy another Admiral, Campioni. It doesn't really matter. And I'll just give him cruiser captain in fly swatter. That'll be good against the UK carriers. Okay, at this point, we've claimed North Africa. Our French Navy is still repairing a little bit. Our main Navy is largely just ready to go. So I think we can engage the UK Navy with a lot of success. I am getting bombed over the Italian mainland, but we have all of our other air over the central Mediterranean. So let's see if we can defeat the English Navy here. So what I'm going to do is same strategy. Convoy rating, Central Med. Oop, wrong Navy there. They'll be on strike force. And we should get engagements from the UK Navy. Okay, the old French Navy is engaging a screening fleet. And it looks like the UK main Navy showed up. So let's take a look at the stats here. They have better light gun attack. They have better light attack, they have better heavy guns, but we have an advantage on them in terms of torpedoes. Okay, the other Navy is going to come to reinforce. Positioning is pretty equal here. Looks like we have a lot more screens, so the screens are going to have to do most of the damage. So as you can see, most of the damage is being done by heavy guns, with a little bit of damage being done by the naval bombers here. This carrier does have a full complement of navs and a few wings of fighters as well. We've not found the UK carrier group yet. And now that we have both of the navies together, it looks like our secondary navy is engaging. So this is the Italian main navy, and the old French Navy is leaving. And as you can see, that's pretty lopsided right there. So that's a huge victory. We need to keep doing this again and again though. And it looks like the old French Navy is attacking this really weird AI carrier fleet. There's one battle cruiser, one carrier, and one destroyer. Okay. And that's a huge victory right there. Took no losses. Here's a better looking carrier fleet. We might not do as well against that if we engage. Okay, it looks like both fleets are going to engage, so we should do fine. Okay, huge win there. So, as I said, the AI just attacks like one at a time. Okay, so we re-engaged, and both of our fleets are fighting this much smaller fleet. Okay, and boom. We got a heavy cruiser, we got a battleship, and we're stripping away all their screens. The UK fleet is massive, so you just keep rinsing and repeating this. And if you're tired of just like destroying the UK fleet, what you could do is simply take Gibraltar and then take all the islands in the Mediterranean, and you'll completely have Mare Nostrum. And at that point, you can also start engaging out here before USA comes in, and you'll just completely kill off the whole UK Navy using this strategy by raiding with the subs and then putting both your navies on strike force. It is a bit of RNG whether you actually get enough of the French Navy or not. If you completely kill off the French Navy, I would say it's worse, because then you don't have them to kill the UK Navy.